Well, hello and welcome to Live in the Hive. I'm Michelle Eagleton, and this is the only online magazine show dedicated to theatre across Greater Manchester. Thank you for joining me tonight. Maybe you're watching on the I Love Manchester Facebook platform, the iconic brand dedicated to community and culture, or maybe you're watching on our very own Live in the Hive Facebook page. Wherever you are in for a bit of a treat tonight. We've got a special for you. We're going all things Hope Mill, and if you've never heard of the theatre, by the end of tonight's show, you will know all about it. So who have we got on the show tonight? Well, we have got the wonderful Lauren Drew. Now, she's currently starring and wowing audiences in Lizzie, which is at Hope Mill Theatre. And then we've got the guys behind the theatre themselves, Joe and Will. They're going to be joining me in the Hive, telling me what's coming up for them and some exciting projects that lie ahead. It is going to be fantastic. If you love theatre, then this is definitely the place to be for the next half hour. So, should we get on with the show? Of course we should. Let's start with Lauren Drew. Now, I caught up with Lauren earlier this week. She's been in things like Six. She's been in Legally Blonde. She's been nominated for an Olivier Award, no less. And she's here in Manchester currently starring as Lizzie, the title role in Lizzie The Musical. It's at Hope Mill Theatre. It is wowing audiences. All the women in it are totally smashing it. So I took a little bit of time out to chat to her in the Hive on one of her days off, which is very, very rare for Lauren. And I found out what she thinks about being in this very special musical.
It is an amazing show. I can't believe my luck. Every night when we finish the show and we get that reception, it's like we're all just gobsmacked at how amazing it's being received. It's such a brilliant show.
And it's something that I had never heard of before. The show itself I'd never heard of, and the story, because this is a real story and you're at the heart of it. You're Lizzie Borden. You have been accused of murdering your stepmother and your father. Mm-hmm. And this kind of retells the story through your eyes and three other women who were, connected to it.
Yes. It's I love true crime. So when I remember getting the phone call. It's quite a funny story because I got the phone call. I was in Wales and I wasn't really available at the time. There was lots of stuff going on, like life things and stuff to sort out. I was kind of in between contracts. Got this phone call about Lizzie the Musical. Now, I knew nothing about it at all. But then I did my research and I started to realize, it's like a true crime. And now, considering how much I love true crime, I didn't know very much about Lizzie Borden at all. But my family did, and they were like, "They want you for Lizzie Borden." They were like, "Oh my god, like you have to go." And so I did my research, found the soundtrack, and thought, "How have I never heard this soundtrack before? It's so up my street. It's like pop, punk, rock, just in your face, amazing score. My god, I couldn't believe it was the first time I'd heard it, and the story is epic. And I think the reason it's so epic is because, especially back in the 1800s, for a young woman to have committed such a heinous crime, it's unfathomable. And it would have been unfathomable for a lot of people at that time. They couldn't really grasp the idea that a woman of her stature, her age, of just being a woman was capable of such an act. And that's what's so fascinating, that we've always been the same. We just were never understood as well, I guess. Still a bit of a way to go, but as well as we are now. So back then, that's kind of how she got away with it, because she was a woman and they were like, no way could she have committed these murders. But if they knew what she'd gone through, maybe they would have.
Absolutely. And exactly what you said. I mean, I left the show and was having these conversations with other people going, oh, you wouldn't have thought that went on back then. And then, this happened, and look at, well, I won't give away the end. I won't give away the end at all, but it is compelling. It's great to watch. The songs are so catchy that I had House of Borden in my head for days later. I'm like, I've just got to listen to it again. You mentioned the soundtrack there. Are you guys going to do your own version? I would love to see your soundtrack.
Yeah, we're working on it. I mean, especially seeing the reception, I said we just have to. So we're all very much wanting that to happen, everybody. So I really hope so, because it's, I mean, I think I worked with Shekinah before, and it's quite funny because I did 6 with Shekinah, and Mayor also did 6, but we never did it together. But myself and Shekinah did, and we even said back then, I really hope that we get the chance to do a show together where we can really sing together. 6 didn't really give us that opportunity. And when we got into rehearsals and we started singing, we thought, oh my God, like, it just worked, the 4 of us. It just works so well. It's peculiar that we never sang before. It just worked. Everybody together, and the vocals really blend. It's just really crazy how that happened.
The vocals are absolutely insane. I mean, what is that like? Does that take its toll on you every night? You've got epic rock kind of songs here, and you're on it all the time. We see you go through all these incredible emotions on stage, from being really scared, this trauma that you're going through with your family, to then the psychoticness. I'm thinking, you must be absolutely shattered when you get off.
I'm not gonna lie, I am a little bit. But I think as well, because it's very new territory and we're still like early days of the run, so we're still getting it in our bodies. And I think especially for me, you know, I do think, talking for myself, that the track itself is a lot. You know, you go through, like you said, there's a very big emotional arc. And I think with the topics that we're touching on, we have a big responsibility to get it right. Simply because of just how kind of delicate they are, and the topics that we do kind of touch on, we needed to, in rehearsal, I was like, this, we have to nail. And I do feel like it has to be kind of, we really do have to show those moments at the start of the show, which are probably a little bit uncomfortable, but we have to show those to justify the killings, you know, otherwise we're just like, this woman is bonkers. And it's not the case at all. There was no other way out. So
but you say that you have to show it. I think it's done really cleverly and very sensitively. Not at any point do we see your stepmother and your dad, but there's a specific scene which you just did blow me away, when you're in a chair and you're talking about your dad and things that are happening, and you take us to a place where we're seeing that in our heads, but we don't have to see it on stage. And I think that is the beauty of it, really.
For sure. We don't want it to be so graphic that people are like, what am I watching? But we need to understand exactly what this girl has gone through. And then we get into end of Act 1, which, to be fair, is actually my favourite part of the whole show. So I really want you all to come see it. So in my interval, I actually don't get an interval, because I'm getting rid of all the stuff and I'm getting ready for Act 2. So basically it's like run off and then it's back on. So like you said, it is tiring. It is a lot, but the feedback and the reception, it's really worth it. And I believe this in the show. I really do. Like I've done things from kind of like the ground up with shows similar to this, and I just see this having a very bright future, and I'm very lucky. I feel like we're very lucky to be part of it.
Oh, I totally do. I can see, you know, this being talked about so much, and just people now becoming so aware of it. And what was interesting is something that you said earlier about kind of Six came after this. And when I watched the show, I felt it had the essence of Six, you know, and it's quite interesting that this existed, and I wasn't aware of it, because you've got the strong female characters, these amazing songs for females. You've got, you know, the band that, again, like females in the band. It just kind of echoes the whole kind of girl power, and leaves you, despite the fact that this is very, you know, dark content. You do feel kind of uplifted and empowered at the end.
Yes, and I think this show didn't take off when it first tried its luck in 2017 with an incredible cast, may I add. So it kind of like everything was there. it just wasn't the right time. And I think we needed shows like Heathers and Six to take off. And also the crime documentary kind of thing that we're all obsessed with. It's just the right time. And
Absolutely.
the female empowerment vibe, the band being part of the show, everything that Six is, like you said, was Lizzie before Six. And I think that it took inspiration from Lizzie. Like it must have. It just wasn't right at the time. And now I feel now more than ever, if not now, never, it's just so right and perfect. Because I see the show as a mashup of like Spring Awakening, Heathers and Six. Like I said, I think we're very fortunate to be part of this production. I mean, already at the Hope Mill, the reception, the people that are coming back in like the space of a week, people have been back like 2 or 3 times, getting tattoos and like theme. Yeah,
I love that. That's amazing.
I do think the show has so much potential. It's because people connect with it. They do. And as much as you think, oh, that's crazy, people will connect with these characters. Maybe, you know, Lizzie is yes, she commits a crazy crime, but she's a very complex character and a fascinating character. And you can see elements of yourself in these characters and in Lizzie, for sure. Even, you know, if you were looking at it from an outside perspective and you've not seen the show, minus the murder, it's not about that. It's about her as a person and the building blocks of kind of why she got to that place. And I think you can really understand it when you see the show, and that is what's important. And that's what I was saying. We have to like really show those moments at the start of the show, those raw moments, to justify what happens towards the end. And then you're on side and everyone's like, yeah, I get them. And that's what we need. That's what we want.
I tell you what, Lizzie is a very exciting show. And if Lauren has whet your appetite, I am going to whet it even more. Let's take a quick look at what we can expect.
In the house of boarding, there's a lock on every door. In every room, a prisoner of a long silent war. Let us take you to an August back in 1892, when all hell broke loose in the house of boarding. Why are all these heads up? Why are all these heads up? Why are all these heads up? Why are all these why are all these heads up? Why are all these heads up? Why are all these heads up? Why are all these why are all these heads up?
Told you it was incredible, didn't I? Those vocals were insane. And did you see the reviews across the board? Everybody absolutely loved it, including me. If you want to go and see something really special, get yourself down to Hope Mill Theatre. It's on until the end of the month, and I can trust you, you are going to absolutely love it. Now, talking of Lizzie, of course, tonight is a bit of a special of Hope Mill Theatre, and if you've never been before, you do have to pay it a visit. It's in Great Ancoats, Manchester. It is tucked away. It's an old converted mill, and it was opened in 2015 by 2 wonderful people, Joe and Will. Now, they are quite hard to actually pin down because they're always working, but I managed it this week because I really wanted to talk to them about some of the exciting shows that they've had since they opened their doors. Shows like Rent, shows like Aspects of Love, and of course Lizzie, which is on right now. So yes, let's find out what they had to say and what exciting projects are on the horizon.
We're small, but we're mighty in our ambition and what we want people to, you know, I think sometimes smaller venues get old, it's never going to be as good as one of the big shows in a big regional house. And actually, I think that's something that we've always tried to break those boundaries and smash those walls of like what can be expected from a small space. And they're always big shows, but shoehorned into a shoebox theatre.
You smash those boundaries, and you're getting known like just all over the place. I mean, I think sometimes regional theatres tend to get obviously coverage in that region, but I've been sat there in the audience and I see the big boys coming down from London and wanting to know what you're up to, and the names that you get. I mean, that must make you so proud to have people clamoring to come and be in your shows. People like Ruthie Henschel, you've had Stephen Schwartz, the guy behind Wicked. I mean, wow, Tracy Bennett as well. What's that like for you, Joe?
I think that is the most overwhelming thing. I think with all of the productions that we produce at Hope Mill, we're always in awe of from the creative teams, like Luke Shepherd, who created Spring Awakening and Rent with us, and has just, conquered Broadway, and is just opened literally last night, opened a new musical in the West End. And, he came and created Rent for us, which was obviously such a sort of big production for us, and it really sort of catapulted us into a different league. But, so we're always like, thank our lucky stars that, people like that, and of course the cast members, not only want to come and work at Hope Mill, but like with Lizzie, 3 of the actresses are returning, and these are actresses that have in their own right got incredible CVs, that have worked in the West End and on tour and internationally, and they want to come back to our little mill and Ancoats. And that I do, you need to be modest in these things, but I do think there is a certain ethos, ethics, heart that comes with Hope Mill. And I think that is because we built it from nothing. So it's been made and the foundations have been laid by us, and it's just heart and soul. And I think that when people walk in, I just think they feel that. So no matter how big the productions are, how stressful it gets, how sort of, close to the wire we are, of, like, oh my goodness, can we make this work? I think everybody knows that we are all in it together, and we're all striving for one end goal, to make incredible theatre. And I think that's why, for us, it's more than just thanking our lucky stars that these people want to work with us. It's also going, they trust us, and that means the world.
Oh, and you do have lots of heart, and you laughed there. I saw you, Will, when you were saying stressful. But I have seen you guys from the get-go, back in the early days, and still see it, the odd kind of like, you'll collect the glasses. You have no airs and graces, or, you'll hop on box office if somebody needs a hand. And I think, that's what people see when they come in. They see that passion, and you roll with it. You're there with it. And £10,000 was that business loan that you took out. And now let's talk about the plans for the future, because we've seen lots of things go on. I said before, we'll talk about the tour. I mean, Will, you're touring these productions now, so that's a new big step, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. That's very much something that we wanted to start this year. And Lizzie felt like the right show, and especially like an autumn tour. It's kind of like a bit Halloween-y and certainly a bit sort of spooky. So we're only going to, I think, 4 venues in total, one being the Playhouse, the Elephant, the new venue in Elephant and Castle. And we're doing a 6-week run, pretty much opening Halloween week and running through November. But yeah, I think the thing is, we are only 130 seats, and we need to, we've been so ambitious in the last 8 years, and we feel like we can't stop now. So we want more people in the regions to experience a Hope Mill production. And the only way you can do that is to put it in a van and take it to them.
Oh my God, that is good. I honestly, I don't know how you're going to have time.
More like a lorry.
Yeah, it's more like a lorry, to be fair.
I think you need a little bit more bigger than that. And not only that, you're starting a fund, aren't you? Tell us a little bit about this fund, because I think this is crucial, isn't it, to the development of Hope Mill and your beliefs and what you want to deliver.
Yeah, we've reached a really crucial point in our journey, I think, where we have been going for 8 years, and every year has got more and more ambitious, but every year has got more and more difficult, and I think that post-COVID, the theatre industry has changed a lot. There's a lot of incredible things that have changed for the better, but it's currently in a really challenging place. And I think that everyone across the sector would say that, whether you're a small medium fringe theatre like us, whether you're above a pub, whether you're independently owned, whether you're an arts organisation run by charity, whether you're subsidised, whether you're commercial, everyone's really feeling the challenges that we're facing at the moment, post-pandemic, cost of living crisis, rising costs, from operational costs to production costs, and competition for funding has been a big thing for us. I mean, Hope Mill became a charity just towards the end of 2019. And then, of course, within 4 months, we were in COVID. So we didn't really get to flex our charitable wings. We were doing all this amazing work, all this amazing outreach. But all of a sudden, it became about supporting everyone through COVID. Thankfully, we managed to secure funding to get us through COVID. Now we're at the other end. And because there's been so many cuts, the competition for funding is so great. And Hope Mill always comes out, scores high, but we're not really bagging the kind of funding that we need to keep us going in the current climate. And I think really for us, we just had to go out there publicly and say, because I do think, and I don't know what you think, Michelle, but I do think because of our success, people just maybe in the back of their head think, oh, Hope Mill's fine. They're like a success story. They're great. And actually, we're not immune to those challenges. And we don't want to reduce our operations. We don't want to go back the way. We want to keep growing. But in order to do that, we really do need the support of our audiences, donors, businesses, anyone that can, make that contribution at such a difficult time to just help us look to the future and plan all of the exciting things that we've got planned for we're just about to hit our 8th birthday, and we want to go for, 80 years. And I think that we just are at a crucial point where we just need to recalibrate, take stock, and make sure that we can lay the next foundations for the next 8 years.
Absolutely. And I think it is really good to reach out to people who are loving what they're seeing, because it's like anything. It's like, when you're watching Strictly and you don't vote for that person that you really love, if you don't donate, we don't want Hope Mill not to be there anymore or deliver the stuff which you are clearly just absolutely wowing us with, so it is great. And now people can donate, and I have got the website there and the link, so please, people, get a pen and paper out, make a note of this one. If you've got any cash, or people that might have bigger pockets that can love a bit of the arts, it is a great investment for the future, because it's here. We've got it in Great Ancoats, which I think is just phenomenal, really. And like I say, the caliber of what you're bringing here, we don't need to go to the West End anymore.
Yeah, just come to Ancoats.
And off the record, there has been a version in the West End recently of Aspects of Love, and I've got to say, yours was better.
Oh.
Just putting out there, I love you, Michael Ball, but you should have come to Hope Mill and done it. But you can donate via this, and there's also other things that you talk about throughout the year. One idea that I really love, and I think, if you want to do something special for somebody, you can actually kind of put your money towards a seat, can't you?
Yeah, you can have a plaque either on our seat, or we have a sort of wall of golden bricks that you can, have a little message there. And, really, any donation, but big donations like that, we want to give back as well. And you have a part of, you're part of Hope Mill as well. But, if people want to say, we always say this, and it sounds crazy, but we have so many followers on social media, over 17, 18,000 on Instagram, and over 22,000 on Twitter /X. I can never get that one right now. But, I think, and actually, the reality is if every one of those people gave £1, it would be, so life-changing for the organization. So don't think in your head, oh, well, I've only got such and such, because you never know. If everyone had that mindset, we would reach our target.
That is a really good idea, and I think people should do that. So if anyone's watching that follows you on social media and is about to start to, £1, even that will really, really make a difference. Now, I can't let you go without talking about some of the plans for the future. Oh my God, there is a musical that I am very, very excited coming your way with an amazing cast. You know which one I'm talking about, don't you?
Could that be Tu Wong Fu, the musical?
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. That absolutely is. It's going to be another brilliant thing to have at Hope Mill. Have you started with all the rehearsals yet? Is that all taking place?
We start on Monday. That's coming Monday the 18th. And yeah, listen, this is a world premiere of a musical. Either people know the movie or don't know the movie. If you don't know the movie, you're still going to love this musical. If you do know the movie, you're going to love the musical, because it is, it's the movie on stage. It's all the best one-liners. It's the heart, the soul, the comedy, but it's got this beautiful score with it that brings a little bit of 90s club. It brings a little bit of country folk. It brings, pure musical theatre joy. It's a really great pre-Christmas night out. And I just think that, again, like you say, I get overwhelmed by the cast we've assembled. And the team. I mean, Douglas Carter Bean, who wrote the movie, is coming over from America to direct it.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's amazing.
We've got royalty making the show for us, so it's really, really exciting.
Oh, I absolutely love Joe and Will. They are theatre geniuses, and as you could see there, they're really nice guys as well. I am very excited for Tu Wong Fu coming to Hope Mill. That's going to be from the 21st of October all the way through to December, which is fabulous. And of course, as I said earlier, Lizzie is playing there right now. And if you can lend your support to their fundraising project, then do, because I know they're going to make use of every single penny. Well, a big thank you to my guests, Joe and Will there, and of course Lauren earlier on. They have been absolutely fabulous tonight. I hope you've enjoyed the show. We are back here every Sunday at 8 o'clock on the Facebook channels of Live in the Hive and I Love Manchester. And talking of I Love Manchester, if you want to find out where to go, where to eat, where to drink, where to see shows, then do give them a look of their website. They've got everything there you could possibly need about our fair city. And of course, we do appreciate the odd follow. Spread the word. If you liked what you see, tell people that we're here. We're on Facebook every week. And we're also on, as you can see underneath, Instagram and Twitter at Live in the Hive 21. Have a great week ahead. Stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you here next Sunday.